Welcome back to another episode on the Hermitcraft server. This is episode 42, which can mean only one thing. The comments section is going to be filled with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy references, and I'm all for it. Today's Hermitcraft episode is a little bit special because I'm actually recording this from the Philippines, which means if you hear a cockerel, or a gecko, or loud music outside, or birds, or motorbikes with straight pipe exhaust, just understand I'm trying my best. I've built a pillow fort in the room, but noises still keep coming through, and you know what? I love it. To start things off today, we're going to be doing some bits on the town. Now, over the past few days, I haven't been feeling particularly amazing. I think I caught something on the plane, but I was very excited to play some Minecraft, and I suddenly got on a bit of a mission to finish up the town area. I wanted to do all of the interiors and also fix up the landscape of the top of our plateau. And the first build that I wanted to work on was Jill and Bill's Bits and Bobs, because this place was a mess, and not in a good way. It's meant to be a mess, but it had been blown up by creepers. It didn't even have a floor when I installed the storage system. I just never put it back. So I installed a 2-layer system. I put in 2 different floors. I started chucking in a bunch of beehives as cardboard boxes and all sorts of different oddities, and now the interior matches up with the exterior. It's chaotic, but chaotic in the best possible way. And it finally now has a sign. So Bill, you will never be erased again. I kept calling him Bob. I love this place. It's a lot, but it's a lot in a very good way. It matches up the tone perfectly. Next up, we have Rich and Rich, the bank. And this one was hard because I wanted it to look expensive. I wanted it to look clean. I'm good at building things that look like they're falling down. I'm good at building things that look like they've existed for a long time with little maintenance, and that is not the vibe that I wanted for this build. And especially with interiors, I find it so difficult because obviously you have like the backside of the exterior walls to deal with, and it makes it so tricky. So I ended up actually flying off into the shopping district, taking a look at the courthouse and taking a look at the interiors of some of the builds there. That gave me some inspiration, and it allowed me to create this structure that actually I'm really happy with. We've got a kind of layer system down at the bottom. We've got the little reception area, some bookshelves, some empty bookshelves, a bank vault up towards the top, which doesn't make any sense, but it kind of looks cool. Some hanging signs, I like it. And I think it will look even cooler once it's all populated. At some point soon, I want to get all of the hermits together with a bunch of various different heads, do a bunch of killing, and then a bunch of armor stand placing all through the town, so this place feels like it's really lived in. Then we have the Boulder Bros, and this was a relatively simple one because the whole point of the Boulder Bros is 99% of their time would be spent outside at the rock piles. Customers would be picking up things from the front of the store and not necessarily going inside. So the inside is more just like a small office and place for them to hang out. But I thought it would be cool to add a small detail of an order list. This is like their job list that they currently have on the go with various different order numbers and different quantities of blocks. Which then brings me on to the big one, the actual plateau itself. Now, when I initially built this thing, it was made entirely out of grass, and it was also covered in overhanging leaves that drop down over the edges, which looked great when it was the only thing that existed. But now that I've got the forest in front of it, and the forest is quite similar in height to the plateau, the leaves on the top, I think, were just muddying up the areas. It made it too difficult to differentiate between what was the plateau and what was the forest. The leaves had to go, and then as I was doing that, I thought I would try just taking out a lot of the grass as well and changing it over to mud. And I think that's helped quite a lot to separate the plateau from the forest itself. And another thing that I really wanted to do is actually extend out areas of the plateau, because places like Willie's Woodyard felt like they were teetering on the edge, and it felt like you didn't have anywhere to walk. So that's now been extended, and it all feels considerably better. So with that now done, this is what our town is currently looking like. And I think there's certain areas where it makes a really big difference. This area does actually feel a little bit empty. It feels like there should be something here. So I'm going to work on that in a second. But look how much better this is. The area around Big Ron's and Willie's felt incredibly tight in the past, whereas now it's significantly better. It actually feels like somewhere that people could exist and walk, because previously it was literally up to here. This is where it was. And if I take a fly out, it is so much clearer where the plateau is and where the trees are. This is 1,000 times better. But something definitely has to go here, doesn't it? Kind of like the idea of like a community notice board. I feel like that's like the right size for something here. Just like a couple of fence posts and some hanging signs could do the trick. Or maybe a little communal garden. Yeah, I think I prefer that idea. Can I just say how nice it was opening this door and not being met with a hole going down to my storage system? This feels lovely. Right, so I think something... It probably doesn't need to be that big. It could probably get away with being maybe this size. I kind of wanted to use something other than brown. I'm still not 100% certain on this. Why am I finding this so difficult? Half an hour. Half an hour of generalized confusion to try and make this work. But I kind of combined both things, and I think it has gone really, really well. We've got the bulletin board, and also we have got a little community garden that has kind of spread outside of the community garden. Now, I personally think this looks absolutely adorable from the view of the town. I really like the signs. I really like the plants. I think it fills in this gap nicely. Now, let's see how it looks from afar. It looks cool. It doesn't look too messy. It doesn't really collide with anything else. I'm happy with it. So now, Surplus Megacorp. I've just been over to the shopping district and I've bought a bunch of glass, and Scar is currently online. As we all know, Scar is like the king of just really cool particle effects in Minecraft. I mean, obviously we've got the smoke coming out of the chimney of the train, and then, I mean, this thing. This thing is outrageous. It is actually outrageous. I don't know how he's managed to do it. It is stunning, it's unbelievable, it's beautiful. And I've politely asked him if he could pop over and just give me like a little lesson, a bit like what Cleo did with the armor stands, just a little lesson on how to create particle effects. Oh, here he comes. Let's get started. I'm not going to make that a phrase, actually. How have you even done that?
I don't know, Mumbo. I just came flying in and I ended up in the storage unit.
You are being safely stored right now. You've been flat packed.
I am. Oh, you don't happen to have villagers around here, do you?
No. You're all good. You're all good. Oh, good. Just ruin everything. On the topic of particle effects. Can you teach me some particle effects, but like building-wise?
I can.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite things. So you're talking like the portal with the particle effects going out, or the smoke, or the tree on fire.
Yeah, I mean, I just flew over to the tree on fire. That thing is outrageous. I know I fly past it all the time, and I always have to compliment it. But like now that I'm looking at it from the perspective of someone who kind of wants to learn how to build that sort of thing, the shape, the form, what on earth? It is so incredible. It is a work of art. It is ridiculous. I just want you to know that I think it's ridiculous. I think it's the best.
I appreciate that one. Thank you.
It's so cool.
Thank you. Well, I'm all embarrassed over here. Jeez.
Over there, there's a Surplus Megacorp, and like those chimneys are just asking for like a little bit of something pouring out the top of them, I think.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. And I just and I was looking at what you'd done. And I was like, man, I could probably try and replicate it, but there's probably like a million tips and tricks that you know of, and you're online, and also I like talking to you. So I thought we could link up.
I was just worried about the smell, and I was right about the smell.
That was
he came over
thing.
Here and stunk up the whole base.
Yeah.
Let's sleep.
Oh no, Joe's on it. Joe knows what's going on.
Joseph H. Hills?
Yep.
There it goes.
Joseph H. Hills.
I don't know. I just made that
up. What's the extra H?
I don't know.
Joe Hills. He's got two hills. Two hills, Joe. Should we get in a group so then we can fly around these things because they're quite big?
Yeah. We're in a group like.
Yep.
Real YouTubers.
We're like a boy band. You have the right level of clothing. You've got barely any shirt.
What I think you could do with each one of those is start with like a base of like a darker color.
Yep.
Like a solid block.
Yep.
And then work your way up in like a spindly way upwards with panes. So you can see at the very top there's panes up there. So that's just kind of like, you have the thick layer of glass, and then it kind of dissipates up into the smoke into just the single panes.
Yep. Okay.
So I think that's what I would do at the smokestacks.
Okay. And is this kind of swirly shape? Do you do anything to like to template this out, or is this just kind of freestyle? You've got like a second account or like a camera account or something logged in that allows you to get like a macro view of it, or are you placing by feel?
Stand in this hole.
Stand in this hole.
Start collecting dirt. Oops, I was trying to break the dirt. Yeah, I was trying to be dramatic.
You punched me out of the hole.
Mumbo, come here. Look at how funny it looks. Look, stand where I am. Look, along my ears.
Where? I can't.
Straight ahead.
Straight ahead.
Straight ahead. Right here.
Oh, yeah. God, that took me a while. You have to understand, Scar, I'm playing on a 9-inch monitor. I can't see details like this.
What? 9 inches?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty, yeah.
So this one's an example of like the darker smoke at the source.
Yep.
And then as it like goes out, it dissipates.
Yep.
So it goes outwards a little bit. So that's a good way of like how I would start yours, or similar to the way I did for Tango's. At his shop was like, you start with like a solid base and then just swirl it out like a soft serve ice cream.
That makes sense. These are, when you start speaking in terms of ice cream, these are things I understand. Are you gradually transitioning from more... See, interestingly, I guess glass panes as well, because of all their, like, the angles that they get, do they kind of become darker than full glass blocks? Like, where you've got the smoke coming out of the chimney there, you've got, like, a bunch of glass panes in the middle connecting all of the glass blocks, and that makes it look like there's, like, loads of textures going on. Would that be accurate?
You are sensing this correctly.
Wow, okay.
Yes, that is the trick. Oh my God, I'm so glad you noticed that. I'm so happy.
Nice.
Look at the fire tree up there.
Yeah.
You can see it's heavily like I finished this and spent 2 more days just adding more panes to it.
Wow.
So
okay.
There has to be an air block between a solid block. But not with panes. So you could take the panes and you can just layer them to heart's content.
Yeah.
But you know when you do like the infinite
That's
effect,
so
there has to be a solid block of glass, air block, solid, air block, and then that creates that infinite look.
Yeah.
But when you stack the panes, you can kind of cheat.
Yeah,
At least do it a little easier.
That's so interesting.
Another small trick is I don't know what you can do with your 9-inch monitor, but if you have your camera account where you could like flick between it, so you have your camera account a long ways away.
Yeah.
So you can get a picture of that and then try it at a couple different angles. Like this was difficult because I didn't want to look like super bad from like the other guys on that side.
Right. Yeah.
So I also had to check to see like, okay, does it look okay from their angle too?
Where I've got like 4 chimneys, I guess I could also have like different like maybe only so like one of the chimneys could be on like full blast, and then like a few of the others could be like trickling out smoke, like not necessarily having them all being like
Don't be scared, Mumbo. You can come in here. It's okay.
This is like the craziest. Sorry,
I don't go in there. That's private. It's too deep. I try to build up. So this is gonna look a little weird at first, but I try to build a little bit of grass or dirt like this when I'm going along. So I start attaching the glass to this, so there's like a core that's empty in the center, so I don't start like making it like super thick and wasting a ton of resources.
Right, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times I'll just go like straight up, for instance, like this. If I know this is a smokestack and I'm thinking, okay, and the wind is going to blow in this direction, so I pick the direction it's going to blow.
Yep.
And then I'll start going like this.
Is this predominantly something to build off of, or because I remember when we did the tree, you almost did the dirt like replicating what the tree was going to look like, and then it was a replace job. Whereas like with the dirt for a smokestack, is it predominantly something that you build the glass off of?
The tree, 1 for 1, basically.
Yeah.
For this, it could be you're replacing a dirt or you're adding to it. It's more of like you're just feeling it out.
Yeah, feeling it. Okay. I do have a question in regards to like ratios and things. Now, there's probably, and this is again, this will be done by feel, I imagine. But like,
yes,
in terms of like ratio of smoke height to build height
in theme park design, one of the indicators that they're working on a new project is they do trial balloons, literally.
Okay.
So they'll take a giant balloon and they'll lift it up into the air.
Yeah.
And then they'll go all around the park and see where that balloon can be visible from. So they'll do it at a bunch of different heights. So you'll see like green balloon's going to go 100 feet in the air. Red balloon's going to go 50, and purple balloon's going to go 250 feet in the air. And they can see like, oh shoot, this looks weird from Fantasyland if we're going to do a sci-fi build. So we're going to go down to the 100-foot build or something like that.
That's interesting.
What I do in Minecraft is everything I learned was from theme parks. is that I'll just build up this, go over to Joel's tower, and then look at it and say, okay, that's too high or that's too short. Yeah. And you're literally just doing a pillar to see how high it is.
So we've got templating it out in dirt and then also using that dirt as a way to place it in the glass. That will save a ton of time.
And resources.
Payne's trick, which is amazing for density of textures and things. We've got the gradient, trying to be a little bit bolder with colors in certain places. That's fantastic. And then throwing some balloons into the sky to get a feel for height when you're planning out a build like this, so that you can feel if it looks weird. These are amazing tips, and this is why I love speaking to the incredibly talented people on the Hermitcraft server. It's ridiculous. There's too many talents and too many talented people. It's too fun talking to everyone. Well, that was the most interesting hour I've ever had in my entire life. So the first thing I'm going to do is these height balloon things, and that's probably a little bit higher than I want it to be. I think these front two could probably be a little bit smaller than this back one. I do want to be quite big, and then this one a little bit smaller again. I have plenty of dirt to work with, so hopefully we can get a good idea here. So I've placed in the first two. This one looks really, really small, but I kind of want that one to look like it's not really on. Like it's just like a tiny amount of smoke slightly trickling out. Then I want this back one to be absolutely massive. This one is full chimney. Out of curiosity, how high up are we? We are nearly at 200 blocks into the sky. I feel like I should keep going above 200. Actually, I'm not going to do that because this already feels massive. Now, I think there is a slightly awkward middle ground that I want to avoid here. I want this to probably be a little bit taller than this one, and I probably want this to be slightly shorter, but I don't want this to be the same height as that actual chimney, because that would look weird. So this needs to be shorter than this chimney, this needs to be taller than that chimney, but then this needs to be significantly taller than this, and then this needs to be significantly taller than this. I think I've kind of done it. Maybe. I haven't actually looked at any of them yet. Now I'm going to do this theme park style. I'm going to look at these from various different areas. Interesting. They look the same height from down here, and it looks weird. Really weird. Oh, it looks terrible. So either this one needs to get shorter, or this one needs to get taller. And honestly, I'm leaning towards this being shorter. I kind of like the idea of these two just barely trickling out smoke, and then these ones like pluming it out. If I look at it from this angle, this actually looks quite good. I actually think this one being shorter will sacrifice this angle a little bit, but I think that angle is less important. Sorry, Scar, I know that's the angle you're going to be seeing most of the time. The angle that most people fly in from is this one, and I think this is okay. Gosh, this is interesting. It's so weird. I think it's because the distance between the chimneys is actually bigger than you expect, so the parallax is really, really noticeable. All right, let's knock this down to around about these levels. Maybe even lower. And then let's beef this up by maybe 5 or 6. Oh gosh, Scar is online. He's flying around. He's even gone up to his spyglass. Ah, this looks bad now. It looks so bad. Oh, this needs to be lower. It can't. I honestly think I'm going back to square one here. I think this is. I think I'm messing everything up. Oh yes. Okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. So this back one has gone even taller. This one's got taller. I've basically increased the amount of work that I need to do significantly, but that's fine. That is fine. I think that looks good. I think it looks cool from here. It should look cool from... That looks so good from this angle. I almost prefer it from this angle, which makes me think I should flip things for this angle, but then this is the angle most people are going to see when they fly in, so I guess that's important. And then this is what it looks like from Scar's base. Also looks really good. Yes, we have found the ratio, I think. I think we've done it. So now we start placing in glass. Here is my plan. I'm going to start with a moderately big one and then see where we go from there. Now, the cool thing is about these chimneys that I've built is they're specifically designed to throw smoke as high up and as narrowly as possible. That is what factory chimneys are apparently designed to do. And then at the very, very tippity top, I think I'm going to have the slightest breeze that pushes it off ever so slightly off course as it's kind of diffusing. I mean, it's not the worst shape I've ever seen. It's kind of weird at being brown. I must admit, it looks strange, but I don't think it's dreadful. I'm going to start things off with the full glass blocks. And then I'm going to gradually transition into adding in all of the panes. And I think I'm going to treat this like a tree. It's mainly hollow. I would imagine it is mainly hollow. And also, if I start adding panes in the hollow bits, that is when it actually starts looking more substantial. So I need to keep that in mind. Oh, it's so weird doing this. I don't know. Go and take a look. Let's go and take a look. The dirt. The dirt makes it look so weird. Wow, okay, the white is quite strong. But you know what? I don't actually think this is a terrible start. Right, I guess at this point I should probably remove the dirt and just get a feel. And it's going to look really, really empty, but that's actually nice. And I think, because I want these to be quite wispy, I think emptiness is key. I need to not get carried away. And... okay, yeah, definitely needs much more density towards the bottom. And it definitely needs much more trail off and much more spread towards the top. I think another detail that I've noticed with Scar's ones is that he keeps the darker color going up the inside for longer than the outer color changes. I think that's important. Oh, I'm about to lose my progress. I am gradually doing my best to start adding in all of the wisps and things. And I think this is where I start to lose where I'm at. Like this is a more challenging part of the puzzle than you would expect, because you kind of think that you could just place them anywhere. But no. Oh, is this any good? It's also really difficult to do with dirt blocks in there because it feels so much more full, and then when you remove the dirt blocks, you realise that you haven't actually placed anything. Let's see. I'm genuinely really nervous for this. Whoa, that transition is... oh, that's bad. Oh, we need so much more of a full block fade out. I guess that does kind of make sense, though. I mean, I've literally got like 3 full blocks and then just none ever since. So I suppose if I just start chucking a few in, maybe trickle them out like this could be the move. Oh my goodness, that is a gigantic hole. I think I need to hollow it out a little bit. Yes, that is actually looking good. That is looking good. Apart from those 3 blocks there, I actually think that is actually good. It is literally just these blocks here. Oh, I think... yeah, just removing those, maybe leaving this will work. Oh, it's actually that one that's the problem. Okay. You know what? I think that is not too bad. For a first attempt, I'm actually really happy. And what's super cool is it kind of ties the bottom of the build to the top. Because you've got this white kind of grey gradient down at the bottom, and then you suddenly have the white grey gradient at the top. Oh, I'm really enjoying myself here. This is the coolest thing. I love learning things from smart people. So now it's time for the tiny one. I was expecting this one to be easier, but it's actually really difficult to make a small amount of smoke. The gradient starts to look strange. I'm honestly not sure if this one... has worked. It's not terrible, you know. I think it just needs 1 or 2 extra blocks out there. And I think the blocks actually need to be going more upwards. Yes, okay. That's great. That matches up wind speed wise with this one. It looks good from the various different angles and things. All right, I'm happy with this. So let's move on to the second biggest one. I'm in the dirt stages right now. Just placing in all of the dirt. This feels kind of right-ish. Yeah, I'd say that's like the right curve. And then obviously it will be extended. This is just the dirt for the main bulk. I'm actually remarkably impressed at how well I've matched that wind curve there. Now I've placed the initial first layers of glass all around the dirt so we can start removing it and seeing what we've got. So this is glass block layers. Okay, I think I'm getting the hang of this, you know. And now I am just about done with the glass panes, or at least the first pass of glass panes. And this is the part that I always have absolutely no idea on. Okay. I think we need a little bit more on the top. I think we need a little bit more up here. Otherwise, though, pretty good. This is pretty good. I'm excited for this one. I've added a few more extra blocks and things. Now it looks like a proper smoke shoot. I'm having too much fun, by the way. This is the most fun I've had in Minecraft in ages. And I know I'm saying that a lot, which surely is a good thing, right? Like every single episode I'm saying it. Every episode is being more fun. So now it's time for the final chimney. the big chimney. The bimney? I think if I said that confidently, it would have come out cool. Anyway, the dirt has been placed. And every single time I do this, I'm so curious what it looks like. At home, I would have a double monitor set up and I'd be able to have my camera account logged in, but because I'm in the Philippines, I'm running pretty bare bones. I don't. Oh, it's such a good curve. But I think it's slightly wrong. I like this exclamation mark I've accidentally left. So I'm thinking it needs to go up straight a little bit longer and then curve more aggressively. I'm not somebody who understands particle physics, okay? And by that, I don't mean like particle physics as in Hadron Collider physics. I mean like the way particles move. I'm not a particle simulationist. This is much, much better. There's some wonky bits here and there, but I think on the whole, this is great, and once you build it out with all the glass blocks, I think it will look cool. Now we're in the dirt removal stage once again. The glass blocks were in. I'm excited to fly over there and realize that I've done something wrong. I'm really starting to see the pattern of how you construct these things. Yeah, okay. It definitely needs more this side, and it probably needs to go up higher. It needs to go up like this. More. And take out some of those. Stage 1 is done. Now it's time for all of the panes. I'm in pain. I'm on the creakiest, ricketiest chair, and I cannot move without it making the craziest noises. My buttocks are sore, but I'm committed to the grind. Chimneys are now all complete. And I gotta say, I am really proud of myself on these, because this is like such a different dimension to anything I've ever done in Minecraft. I got that lesson from Scar, which, to be fair, is like Martin Scorsese giving you advice before your first short film. But I got that advice from Scar, and then I got to work on placing the blocks, and I think it's worked out really well. I think the scale is good. I really didn't want to make it too massive. I kind of didn't want it to be the focal point of the build. I wanted each one of the smoke areas to stay separate from one another, and I think that's worked out quite nicely. I think it looks good from various different angles. I think it works as like a detail to the build rather than the main event. It has hurt my brain quite a lot. It has been incredibly fun, and it's not really something that I was planning on doing. So, the fact that I was just online today, I saw Scar was there, I was looking over at his base, and I decided to chat to him, I think has made a really seriously meaningful difference to this build, because this looks significantly better, significantly more alive, and significantly more real now. I think I'll probably end up tweaking it over the next couple of weeks or so, but I'm happy. I've had so much fun. This has been so much fun. I kind of want to set fire to a load of stuff and create all sorts of particle effects now. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!